Well, kind of, sort of. But I have a special guest. The interview that we've been waiting for, the author that we've been waiting for, my best friend, the author of the year, the mother of the year. Just pure excellence. For the third time, actually. Here comes Vanessa Concepcion-Limage. Come on. Welcome back.
Well, I'm glad to be back.
Thank you for coming back on my channel.
Well, hello to you, TV. It's been a while.
It really has been.
It has.
What have you been up to?
Thank you. I've been up to so much. I just finished publishing my new book.
What?
And the book is called End My Marriage. It's the trial of Anna Cologne. It is dedicated to the first couple ever divorced in the USA. Quick fact, this couple is called Anne and Dennis Clark, but in reality there was another couple who was divorced but not on record, and I think it was called the Lankins, and they were the first. Like I was saying, it was I think Elizabeth and James Lanford, and they were the official first divorced couple, but it just wasn't recorded for some reason.
Wow. And this took place in the 1700s, am I correct?
This couple in the 17th century, but it was actually, first couple was 1639.
1639, guys. 1639. First of all, I just want to shout out, you came in costume. You're giving 1700s.
Well, I think you're matching me because we must have called each other, didn't know. We are looking like we belong in a play.
That part. It is time to get into some things, to get into And My Marriage. First of all, why is this so important for you to tell this story?
Well, first of all, we all know what time we are in right now. We all know where our president is leading us to and bringing us back into the past. And I thought that we should discuss what the past was like for women and what we went through just for having to be a different sex. And no better story than a story of a man who happens to have another family.
Ain't that something? That's definitely given, we all can relate. Like, this is a book that we all can relate to. And when I was in not the writing, but behind the scenes, and it's really listening and reading the book, it is really impactful. It definitely tells a story of triumph, of courage. Especially back then, it took her courage to fathom the words, I want a divorce. And there's a lot of marriages who are like that now. So that's why it's so relatable.
You are definitely right. Back at that time, the woman had really limited rights. They had the right, there was no right to vote. There was no right to go to the police and complain about abuse. We couldn't even own anything like we do now. We are just so blessed at this moment to be able to own a house, a car, anything like that. And the fact that the president wants to take us back into the future, into the past, I just don't know why.
Well, we know why, but we're not going to get from that moment in here. We're absolutely not.
We definitely won't.
However, so Anna Cologne, tell us who Anna is.
Well, Anna is a woman who, she's well-spoken. She speaks her mind. She's one of those women that if she thinks she's doing something wrong, she's going to tell you you're doing things wrong. And at that time, men didn't want to hear it. Men barely want to hear it now. They're doing wrong. So I consider Anna to be a very tough woman who a lot of us aspire to. And basically, I think a lot of us women are like now.
1,000%. So, can you tell us a little bit about who she married? Like, what was he like, and why did she ultimately want to get a divorce?
So David, apparently I didn't want to give up too much of the book, but he does have another family in another place, and he tried to, go to this land to redo his life. But in reality, he didn't have a divorce. He still was on record as married, but she had no clue.
Is that something that we do on an everyday basis?
I think it is, but it was harder for her at that time.
But from her, I'm so happy that she gained the courage to say, you know what, I'm not happy. This is not working. I've done everything I possibly could. And it's really time for me to get a divorce, even though it's scary. And getting a divorce, ending a relationship, whatever that may look like for you, is definitely a scary aspect.
I mean, us women, we normally go through so much. So we have to sit there and worry about what we own. And, she didn't own much. So, that's something we got to look into. Yeah, you are right about that. And at that time, women were able, they weren't able to speak up. It was more like they were able to be seen but not heard. So during this book, it's basically about silencing a woman who needs to speak up and needs to defend herself.
Defend herself. I just want to come in with a quote real quick. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. And I chose this quote specifically for Anna Cologne because she didn't let what happened to her control her. She said, you know what, I'm not happy. This marriage is not benefiting me at all. And it's time for me to put on my big girl panties and get out of here. It's scary, it's frightening, and especially back then, she knew exactly how she would be seen and not heard. She knew exactly what the men thought of her. And specifically, we can't forget about what the ladies thought of her as well.
Yeah, they basically say it in the book. You would think that as a woman, one would defend a woman, but there are times when the women were on the men's side, and they were afraid to be, and they weren't afraid to step up, and they were scared what the man might do. But in reality, every woman should step up and say what's on their mind.
Completely. I love throughout the book how deep and honest you were about Anna and her life and who she was and what she liked. But I also loved how you portrayed David as who he was, this antagonist, but he still had a heart. He still knew he was wrong, but then he still had the gumpture of, I am who I am, and I'm not going to change. And especially at that time, it's well, I'm a man, it is what it is. I know I'm wrong, but there's nothing you can do about it kind of scenario.
Well, I think David did love Anna, Anna at a point. He did fall for everything that, she was given, and she was giving greatness. Mm-hmm. She was a beautiful woman at the time. And, marriages don't work depending on them working it out. And he wasn't ready to work it out. He was ready just to put his foot down and say, this is what I want. This is what I deserve, despite what she may feel. And she wasn't going to have that because she's a strong woman. And she's like, I don't think so.
That part. It's the I don't think so part for me. It's the I understand what you're saying. I hear you. I understand you. However, I'm not going to be the fool. You're not going to play the fool twice. I understand that I allow certain things. And in relationships, you allow certain things. And even from, obviously, the way back when, there's certain things in relationships, whatever that relationship is, whether it's romantic, whether it's friendships, there's certain things you have to come to terms with, there's certain things you have to compromise, there's certain things you just have to say no. Or you just have to kind of agree to disagree. Or just
I call it pick your battles. There are those that you fight about and those that you give up. And, it's about fighting the battles and knowing when to give up, a certain conversation or a certain disagreement.
I completely understand and I completely agree. So with Anna and with David, is there any similarities between your life and between what happened back in the 1600s, 1700s?
I will say that there's a portion of me, but it's basically the reality of I don't know how to shut up. I do speak my mind. Not a lot of people like it, but I do tell it like it is, and I do my best. And if I give you my advice and I tell you the truth, you know, it might be a little harsh. And I think that's what people don't like. But I'd rather tell the truth than go around hiding secrets.
That was a bomb drop. Because a lot of people may not understand where it's coming from. They don't like the messenger, and they don't want to listen to the message. And that's the unfortunate part. However, I want to leave you with another quote, because I just love quotes. And this is really important from what we just said, and in terms of the book as well. Grow through what you go through. So whatever that situation is, like Anna and her divorce, she had to grow through after that divorce. She had to grow. She had to understand, this shit just knocked me the fuck down. However, I grew. I learned a lesson. If there's anything that we can leave, it's to learn lessons. It's to grow through what she went through. To make an example out of that circumstance, that pain, that trials and tribulations that you just went through. It was for a reason.
Well, I mean, they did, you know, she had her feelings, you know, she went through a lot, she felt it all. But she said, you know what, I'm going to cry and I'm going to get back up and do what I need to do. And, you know, we should be proud of such a woman who, despite what she faces, refuses to give up. And that's what we should all aspire to.
That part. That was well said. Ooh, it's the authoress for me. So let's get into that cover. That cover really just holds a story for me. Who was the illustrator?
Well, it is a bright young artist coming up. He's in Fredonia, and he thought I gotta confess, I was going to do an AI cover, which was still a beautiful woman, but it wasn't giving what my story deserved. So this artist, Mathew Guerrero, said,
Shout out to Mathew.
He said, give me a little some time, and I'm going to come up with it. Did it take a little longer than I hoped? Yeah, but when it came out, it was perfect. I couldn't even disagree about how it came out. He portrays Anna so well, and I think he's going to be a great upcoming artist. And he did self-portraits of himself, which is so realistic that I have to shout him out for his artistry. And you know, if you were looking for an artist or somebody to create your work, I think Mathew's the way to go.
Shout out to Mathew. Mathew did an amazing job. And I see some of his other work. Truly talented. Book him. So, with the books that we came up with, so you have Fairly Valley Rose.
Yep.
You had The Ride Home.
I did.
You had My Heart Chooses For Me.
Well, I officially had that for my husband. It was an anniversary gift of our lives.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful performance, though.
Thank
it was
you.
so heartfelt. I felt like I was in love. And now we have And My Marriage. So what's next?
Believe it or not, I'm working on a second fairy book. And hopefully that will be done at the end of the year, because people want to know what Fairy Valley Rose is up to these days. So this is going to be triggered to more of a little older, because right now it's 7 to 11. So I want to bring it up to maybe 13 years old. So the readers have more to read, and they can still enjoy Fairy Valley Rose as a child book anyway.
I cannot wait for the next installment of Fairly Valley Rose. I cannot wait for whatever you have else coming out. I really want to get into how hard was it, or if at all, was it hard for you to write this book?
Well, Honestly, it wasn't that hard. I did some research, and believe it or not, there wasn't enough information about the first couple recorded. And it did make me sad that I didn't get to hear the story. So this is why I made my own story up, and this is why, it's like as a writer, you sit there and you try to figure out what this woman went through and what it could have been at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all into like movies from the 17th century, 16th century. I just love old movies. So I know more or less of what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Is just planning it out. And I think it took less time to write this book than any of my others.
I would have to concur. I really would have to concur. I really feel like you really put your foot into this book. Of course, every other book was amazing and so heartfelt and so special in their own ways. But to hear her story so vividly, like I felt like I was there, and in certain parts, which you definitely need to read, in certain parts, I definitely felt teary-eyed and I definitely felt emotional with what was going on in their marriage and in that trial, and just, damn.
And as always, they have somebody that you would hate in the story. You have to have that one person, and you think it would be David. But there was another character in the book that if you read it, you would know you would hate him anyway.
Unfortunately, he was there. He was supposed to be there. He was needed, and I'm happy he was there because I really thought I was going to hate David. I really did. I was like, oh, hell no. Mm-mm.
I know there's one you dislike, and then there's one you gotta hate, like constantly. So, but I'm really confident this book is gonna go real far, and I think you're gonna enjoy it. And maybe one day it can be a movie. We don't know, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Not one day. It will be. We'll definitely make this a movie. 1,000%, because the story needs to be told. If it wasn't fully documented, we couldn't have really pulled as much information as it needed to be. And the way it was so vividly displayed in this book and illustrated, it has to be, whether it's a short film, it has to do something. So we had the Fairly Rowdy Road, part 2 coming out by the end of the year. We still have your blog.
Yes.
My
blog is mymorningcafe.org.
.org.
Yes.
And we also have the Dirty Stories that we are transitioning into something else very, very soon. So we're excited of what's happening in your life. What words do you want to give young artists and authors to just hold on to in these troubling times?
Well, I do want to say that sometimes it just comes out of you. It's just, get a pen. It might sound silly, but you start off with a pen or a pencil, you write your same line, and the next thing you know, you're writing a book. So you never know how far you go until you try. And to the young artists out there, don't give up. I wanted to be a writer since I was young, and yet, there was a lot of twists and turns before I got here, but I made it, and I'm thinking you can make it too, and that's what I want to say to all the writers.
And I'm so happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're seen. I'm happy that you are expressive and you express yourself through the words so beautifully on that paper, on that pen. You go through days in and days out just writing and rewriting and till it's perfect. So you feel those characters.
Well, I do have something that you don't know.
Ooh.
My blog, My Morning Cafe, we are up to 53K views. Thank
you for listening to my morning coffee. That is amazing. Those are amazing numbers.
Yes, I didn't think it was going to get that far, and I only did that a couple years ago, and it was just amazing on how many people were reading, and it was just, and they were sharing, so I really felt the support from everybody, from readers, on the coffee lovers, because we talk about the coffee, obviously, on the blogs, and it's just, I feel kind of blessed to have such the support I have today.
Mm-hmm. With you saying that, ooh, the only way to do great work is to love what you do.
I agree. If you love what you do, it does not work at all. It's sort of like a
It doesn't necessarily feel like work. That's why I kind of chose that quote. I chose specific quote for specific reasons, and I specifically chose that quote because if you love what you do, it does not feel like work. And then you'll be great at it because it doesn't feel like work. It's just you're making sure that it's perfected or unperfected in a way where it's received the way it needs to be received.
I agree. I'm not making millions, obviously, but the fact that I'm being able to do my dream and do what I love, it's better than any paycheck can give me. Not saying I don't need one, but it feels good just to be able to do so.
The next quote I have.
We're fully close.
Best way to predict your future is to create it. And as you said, you didn't think you would be a writer, but you know you wanted to write.
Yeah.
And then that one day you was just in the living room and wherever you were, and you decided to put that pen to paper or put those notes on that phone and say, you know what, I'm going to start jotting things down until it becomes something.
Well, in all honesty, I started in one of the interviews we talked about was about the teacher who inspired me to start writing.
Yes.
But in reality, when I started deciding to be an official writer, is when I was actually at a college in Guerrero in New York, and I tried to get into accounting out of all things. And I realized that obviously I didn't do well at accounting. I can confess that. But it's probably because I didn't want to do it in general. It was just something I felt like I had to do. And, after I got out of there, I realized, why am I trying to be somebody else? I should just be me.
Passion versus purpose.
Exactly.
A lot of people are passionate about a lot of things, but did that really your purpose? Did that really make you wake up in the morning? Did that really make you, like, you know what? I am who I am because this is my purpose. Like, this is what God put me here to do. And God put you here to write it. God put you here to inspire people. God put you here to be the brilliant writer you are and to just continue to create and expand with vocabulary and expand the words on the paper and expand the pages until you get that big book or until you get the big book deal and until you get the movie that you want. And then just really be able to broadcast that to the entire world.
Well, I am going to say this, even if I was to get the movie, I was to get, the publishing I wish I would get that I'm not getting at the moment. I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. I see myself wanting more. I have more ideas to write, and I'm not done yet.
So what books have you been actually reading? Like, what authors have been in your mind recently to help you construct the next installment of Fairly Riley Rose, first of all? And what other writings that you may, or ideas that you may have been thinking about? Like, what is that author or that book that's really just in that mind right now?
Well, it's funny you said that. I happen to have one of these, and the reason I bring this up is me and my sister wanted a book club. As much writing as I do, I don't do enough reading, which I should do enough reading. And we decided to do the same book, and it's called The Silent Patient. Now, I find it funny because when we read the reviews, there was not great reviews, but you are going to have that. You're going to have people who disagree with the book and people who totally agree with the book. And this one really got to me.
Why was the reviews negative? Like, did they not understand the characters? Was it not displayed correctly? Or did it just not like how it ended, like the storyline? Like, what wasn't given for that?
I think it was sort of storyline, but I think it's the ending. I think they were expecting a bigger impact, and it wasn't as big as they want. But overall, the book was giving, I felt like I was in the book, and I was the woman, the silent patient, because it's based on a woman who doesn't really talk, and we're not sure if she had murdered her husband or not. And this is throughout the book, trying to figure out if she's going to confess.
Okay, that was a lot to take in. I definitely want to see that in a movie. If there's a movie, I'll definitely watch that because that's a lot. But if they didn't fully display that or show that within the book, then that would kind of make me feel like, okay, so like what am I reading? Because I didn't really get to the ending that I actually wanted.
I think the book had to be good. I mean, it says the #1 New York Times seller. It has to get somebody somewhere. So I'm assuming that you guys got to take time out to reread it if you need to.
That part. So what is next? What is next in your life? Besides the books, besides the writing, besides just being amazing, what is next?
Well, my children are getting older. They don't need me as much, which, I love them to death. So I get to focus more on myself. But I want to help others. So my new chapter is about helping others and trying to show them how to live a life despite of what they're going through the day.
That's impactful. That's important. That's extremely important. We're kind of in the same kind of similar field, and that's amazing to see how you use your great heart and your big heart to help the people that you help now. I'm just extremely proud of you with all of your writing, with everything that you have going on, with the books, with just being a great mom, a great wife.
Thank you.
It's truly inspiring to me. So I just want to, leave you with a last quote for you and then for the readers and listeners as well. Don't forget, her book is And My Marriage, The Trial of Anna Cologne. That is everywhere. You can basically pick up a book. Barnes & Noble, Amazon, eBay.
Because, they're all around the world, so it's easy to find. It's online, but I'm trying my best to get it on the shelf. So if you find a way, you can help me.
Help, 1,000%. 1,000%. Help as much as you can. But definitely pick up the book. You will enjoy it. It is a great read. So I really just liked this quote as soon as I seen it this morning. And I really it just helped fill my heart. 1 second, guys.
He loves the quote.
We are all a little broken, but the last time I checked, broken crayons still color the same.
Oh my God, I think I heard that quote before. I think that's an incredible quote because, that shows that despite what you might think, we are all the same. We are all going through something.
And we are all fighting, maybe not the same exact battle, but very similar battles. So in terms of especially what we're going through now in this political climate, that's not obviously as far removed from Anna Cologne and her situation in terms of dictating people and their rights and the DEI and everything that we're just dealing with. We all need to fight. We all need to stand up. Because although we're all broken, although we're all traumatized, we all deal with our stuff, we still shine bright. We still are powerful. We still have a voice. And we still are brilliant, excellent, and amazing in our own ways. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever stop. The whole point of my page, the whole point of her writing is because, like we just said, passion versus purpose. I'm supposed to be on this mic and in front of you guys because this is my purpose. And it's becoming my passion as well. Although it's scary to be in front of you guys. As long as you know. I've been very, very behind the scenes in audio versions a lot often. But as you can see, you get to see my beautiful face now. And it's scary, but it's so important. And I'm so happy that I'm challenging myself day in and day out to continue and to put my best foot forward and just be as great and amazing as I know I can be and be as powerful and well-spoken and be able to express myself and say what needs to be said and don't have table talk kind of conversations like a lot of people have. But if it needs to be said, it needs to be addressed, it needs to be heard. So change can happen.
I do want to say that he was nervous about being on video. I've seen him in most of his latest videos, I've never seen anybody as comfortable as you are. I definitely am not that comfortable to be on video. But he's such a natural, and you would have thought you did it for a lifetime.
Thank you. It's definitely, like I said, trial and error. Lord knows this trial and error in conversations and this being in and out of my mind and this asking for feedback and just trying to be better. But this is not about me. This is not about us. This is about Anna and her story. This is about just the book writers and the authors and the illustrators and just everyone who has a passion and who knows exactly what they need to do. And you may be scared to do it. You will have chapters in your life where you would be like, you know what? I know I want to do this, but I'm scared. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this. Have those conversations with yourself. Have those conversations with God or whoever you believe in. Have those real deep conversations with your friends so they can lift you up and show you your light so that you never forget it and then you continue on your path.
You never know what you can do unless you try. That's what I say. And take time to focus on what you like, what you want to do. But also we have to take in reality that if we want a better word, we have to vote. We have to take time out to fight for what we believe in. And that means believing in yourself as well.
Extremely believing in yourself. Sometimes in life you have to be selfish. If you really want something, if you're really passionate about something, and like this is what you're into now, whether it may be what you're into forever or what you're into now, you have to be selfish sometimes. You really have to just lock yourself in a room and just do what you need to do to get that done. For it to be complete, for it to be as best as it can be, and then just continue in working on your craft. And I want to thank you for working on your craft. That craft is so beautiful. Like when I say I was taken away by just the depth of how you told this story and how I felt like I was there and just all of the emotion that I felt reading it and just living the story and living within the characters in the book. And the way it was so descriptive, I really felt like I was there. I was in the 1600s, 1700s.
That was the point, is being able to feel what you felt. The pain they felt, the horror, the dislikes, it's about feeling so you know what it felt like at that time. And that's what I wanted to portray in this book. I wanted you to feel everything.
I'm just happy that there was a redemption moment. I'm happy that there was a moment where she realized her power. And I feel like every person in the story possibly could have gotten something out of the scenario. But I'm happy that there was redemption. And just like in the stories, just like in real life, there are going to be redemption moments. So within these last, describe the best book you read and why in a sentence.
Oh my God, that's a little hard because
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll give you 3 sentences. Describe the best book, best author, and why.
Well, I have 2 best authors, so it's kind of hard because it's Stephen King. And then there's Danielle Steele. Danielle Steele her writing is completely different from Stephen King's thing. Stephen King has all the drama, all the horror, all the greatness he got going on, and of course he got the movies. But Danielle Steele's books really, really get to me, the emotions, the way she portrays the characters. So to level it down to, who and what, I can't.
And that's okay, because you just described it. You just did that for me. Stephen King is definitely a GOAT. I know Stephen King. I grew up with Stephen King. Stephen King is that person. And to look up into that to be one of your favorite authors, it shows me where you're going. It completely shows me where you're going in this industry, and in your life, and in this, however big you want to be, you will be. So describe that one book from Stephen King and that one book from David.
Daniel Steele.
I'm sorry, guys. Daniel Sales. What are those two books, one from each, that really just stood out for you?
Oh my God. Yeah, you're putting me on the spot because, there's most of the ones I like from Stephen King already out in movies, and it's like It and The Watchers, and there's like so many, things that he has that just, but I know Daniel still has another one coming out. I can't recall the name, and I'm dying to read that. I saw it on the shelf, and it looks interesting, and I forgot the name of it, so sorry, Daniel still, but I think I'm going to read that, and I think that might be my new best one, because it looks like something to read, and I think I can read it in 2 days if I want to.
Oh, I know you can. I'm just excited for everything you have going on, everything that you're about to come up with. Go get the book, guys. It is everywhere. And guess what, guys? She's going to do an ebook. Shh. I didn't say that. I did not say that.
I do have an ebook. I have an ebook out. Oh, are you talking about the other ebook?
I was talking about the other one, but now that the cat's out the bag for the first time, might as well just talk about it.
The ebooks that hopefully will come in the near future, they are adult, 18 and over, and they're very explicit,
And spicy for the
and
people
spicy,
that
like
for the people who
spicy.
like that.
I did have it in what they call like a villas, but apparently they are closing up the villas, so I'm going to make it into an ebook for my readers too. And I do have a ghostwriter in those stories, so it'll be very interesting.
I'm so excited. So this was Kimi's Tea of the Day with Vanessa Concepcion-Limage, the authoress. Thank you again for coming. This is 3 times the charm.
Thank you for having me. Keep checking out his podcast and his videos, and I think he's going to go real far, and I really hope that you take time out to read End My Marriage. It's online now, ebook, hardcover, softcover. Just check it out.
You can literally, guys, just type in Google, type in End My Marriage, type in her name, bam, it's going to pop right up. And it's going to give you all of the options where you can purchase, where you can read, where you can listen, like whatever that works for you, it's out there. And hopefully soon, for Connecticut guys, hopefully she'll get it in a library very, very soon.
That's going to be my next step, so hopefully soon.
And then be prepared, because she will be reading some excerpts from the book. And I'm excited to see how everyone just grabs to the story and gets their own opinion of the characters and just sees exactly how they understand and like the conclusion of the book. Thank you, guys. This was Kimi. I'll be back with my tea of the day. Laters.
Have a great day.